Hi, I've just been speaking to Peter Hitchens at great length about the election, whatever. Peter, you're here still with me. When you were last on, I did ask you to give us a few choices of particular movies you'd seen recently,
Yeah.
and it proved actually very popular. I mean, actually, in terms of members watching. I want to widen it a little bit. I just wanted to ask you, first of all, what now, as it is in 2024, do you kind of not watch or read or listen to in a way that you did habitually in the past? I mean, I've noticed a lot of things have changed, and a lot I put it down to politics. But are there things you no longer do because they've become too, well, I don't know, political, too woke, or whatever it is?
Television news, I hardly ever watch at all.
Right.
And I was a person who used to, when I first came to London in the late 70s, I would watch the BBC News at 9, I'd then watch the News at 10, the wonderful Reginald Bosanquet, Anna Ford duet, which was the most perfect news reading arrangement I've ever seen in my life, and then watched Newsnight. And if I wasn't able to do those things, I feel I'd missed something.
Yeah.
Now I don't watch any of them.
I know.
And on the rare occasions when I find myself tuning into them, I can't stand them for more than about 5 minutes. In my house, they're referred to as Vremya, which was the name of the Soviet TV news. They are so full of supposition and of politicization, and so remote from the old idea of news. The News at 10 was a tremendously professional news organization, comparable, I thought, to a popular mid-market newspaper in its force and cleverness and projection. And there's nothing like that now. People just don't do news. And sometimes I turn to Channel 4 News in the hope of, and then again.
Yeah, yes. No, it is.
I don't.
But do you find there are other things as well? I mean, like, for example, I used to, it sounds sort of as though I'm being very, very curmudgeonly here, but even Have I Got News for You?
I never watched that.
I can't watch it, but
I was on it once, which is one of the reasons why I don't watch it.
Oh, I see. Right. When were you on?
There was very early on in the Blair era. The production people obviously had some kind of rocket for being just too blatantly left-wing, and they were trying to get some conservative panel members. One of them was a chap called Johnson. I don't know what happened to him. And another was me, and I was on with a woman called Clarissa Dixon Wright, who you may remember as one of the two fat ladies.
Two fat ladies. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she ate the program as it happened, and so you can still find it on the web. But there was very little left for the rest of us to do. It is of course recorded and edited.
Yeah.
So the 3 jokes that I told, all of which were good, one was edited out. So I was so much for that. But the whole thing was occupied by a long disquisition which Miss Dixon Wright made about somebody I won't name, which had to be cut out by the lawyers. So, but I wasn't asked back as the outcome of this. Yeah. But I'd always thought the news quiz on the radio was ridiculously to the left, and I thought that Have I Got News for You was the same thing, so it never did it for me.
What about the Today program?
Oh, I still listen to it. Often, I believe in some mental hospitals there are now locked wards for people who shout at Radio 4, and I think I'm heading that way. It's just, I do quite a lot now listen to Times Radio instead, because I quite enjoy some of the presenters on it, and also it's a change from the Today program, which just... Again, its news values have declined, and its propaganda quotient has gone up.
Yes, it's very blatant.
One of the other great missing things in my life is also Radio 4's Any Questions.
Right. Yes.
I used to listen to it really, really devotedly back in the days when I lived in small bedsits and had no television. I would listen to when people like Paul Foote were on it. And I loved it as a discussion program, but it has become so totally dominated by parliamentary politics, and they read out the panel, It's entirely composed
Yeah.
of people I've never heard of, who turn out to be members of parliament, which is actually those two, in a Venn diagram, people I've never heard of and members of parliament, those two circles are very close together.
Yeah.
Who are they all?
Yeah.
And they've all been briefed, and they all come to the programme with a stern instruction from their party bosses: do not, whatever you do, say anything interesting.
Yeah.
And they don't. So that's a great loss in my radio calendar.
Well, look, Peter, thank you very, very much for that. I know we're going to get a lot of comments actually agreeing with you.
I'm sorry. I mean, sometimes I do say things.
No,
that people
no,
agree.
that's
Just
a
at the
good
moment,
thing.
in
That's a
general,
good
I'm
thing.
not doing that.
Thank you, Peter, very much. Peter Hitchens.